aspirational rhetoric. It is a program of action built on 4 strategic pillars: research intensity, academic excellence, sustainability, and agile operations. Buang is immersing itself completely into the role Africa requires, a university that not only teaches, but transforms. The sunflower story in Botswana illustrates the transformative power of the juxtaposition of university, industry, and society. Dear delegates, there's a cooperative of approximately 50 women in Boteti in central Botswana called Sap Energy Initiatives, whom Sunflower has radically transformed for the better. These women suffered the horrors of GBV, particularly this happened because Ruforum provided the infrastructure. This happened because the MasterCard Foundation gave them hope. This happened because Buang empowered them. This is impact in its totality. There is alignment between Botswana's national development priorities, Ruforum's Vision 2030, and the African Union's Agenda 2063. In their totality, these frameworks call for a skills revolution, an agricultural transformation, and inclusive growth anchored in science, technology, and innovation. Most importantly, the sub-theme for this AGM reminds us that progress is a collaborative journey. Hence, Ruforum is the bond that ties us together in the furtherance of the implementation of these frameworks. Furthermore, applying the AGM theme to the real world requires African universities to enhance their impact. It requires us to reflect on the priorities highlighted by Ruforum's Vision 2030 strategy, UNESCO's Higher Education Transformation Agenda, and the African Union's Agenda 2063. These priorities reflect gaps that require our collective and deliberate commitment to resolve in our quest to develop Africa. These priorities should provide a clear vision and framework to build a future Africa, premised on the principles of equity, inclusion, and natural justice. Dear delegates, these priorities are a pathway towards a new Africa anchored on its universities. In the immutable words of an African proverb, when the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. If we entrench the roots of inclusion, equity, and partnership across our institutions, Africa will remain implacable and resolute amidst adversity. We will thrive and prosper. In summary, as this AGM commences, let us reflect on several key factors. Strengthen partnerships among universities, government, industry, and society. We need robust and dynamic engagements. Redesign curricula, embed TVET, and create articulations into professional programs. These should be underpinned by entrepreneurship as a mitigation against youth unemployment. Anchor research in societal challenges so that we are relevant and impactful. This is the hallmark of fourth-generation universities. Build inclusion and equity policies that enhance the participation of the vulnerable among us, especially women and the youth. This is the identity of impactful universities. Invest in institutional capacity, leadership development, and digital transformation. This will oil the wheels of change and transformation as we move into an uncertain future. In conclusion, this AGM should not be just another meeting. It should be an affirmation that African universities can and will shape the continent's growth trajectory. Our youth are the architects of Africa's future. Our women are fountains of resilience. Our rural communities are reservoirs of knowledge, innovation, and opportunity. At Buang, we are already invested in these. Therefore, let us work together on this interminable journey towards the future. Let us work together in our quest to transform this vision into reality. In hosting this event, Buang was announcing to you, Africa, that we are ready to work with you towards Agenda 2063 and beyond. We might be a young and small university, but what matters most is not the size of the dog in a fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. I thank you all and wish you a productive, inspiring, and transformative AGM. Thank you very much.
The sense of the dog, the sense of. So I was moving closer, and the prof felt it, because it is now the dog. Now it is the dog. Thank you very much. I think I forgot to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that through these remarks, we're giving you snippets in terms of what is it that we are gathered here for, so that we gather everything so that we are ready now once the minister is taking off. I'm calling for another remark. I forgot to whisper to Prof. Mosepele, but I've whispered already to Prof. Okori already. In fact, he's my partner in crime. So at this point in time, I'm inviting Prof. Patrick Okori, the Executive Secretary, Ruforum, to come and give us some remark as well. A round of applause.
You're present. May I also take the opportunity to recognize our visiting ministers and representatives of the Ministry of Education that are here present. But I would like to start by saying we appreciate the presence of the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education, Scientific Research and Training of Chartson Excellence, Dr. John Elgini. Thank you very much for coming. This is his second meeting, which shows commitment to Africa. We are very grateful. We are very grateful to the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Sudan, the Honorable Professor Ahmed Musa, for coming. Thank you, sir, for making time to be here. The Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Director of Cabinet Benin, His Excellency, Professor Rogatien Toso, thank you for coming. The representative of the Ministry of Education and Head of Delegation from Uganda, Timothy Sejoba Musoke, who is also a Commissioner of Higher Education. Thank you for coming along with your team. The representative of the Minister of Education and Head of Delegation from Malawi, Dr. Ken Ndala, who is also the Secretary for Education. Thank you for coming. The representative of the Minister of Education and Head of Delegation from Zambia, Dr. Kelvin Mambwe. Thank you for coming together with your team. He's the Permanent Secretary, the representative of the Ministry of Higher Education, and he's heading the delegation from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Professor Kubaya Dominique Wakubaya. Thank you for coming. The representative of the Ministry of Higher Education, Cameroon, Professor Sarah Anyang Agbo, who is also the Inspector General Services #1. We deeply appreciate your presence with us. The representative of the Ministry of Education and Head of Delegation from Ethiopia, Dr. Ahmed Abitiu, who is the Executive Director for Education and Training, Authority of Ethiopia. We appreciate your presence. On the way coming here is the representative of the Commission for Education, Science and Technology in the African Union, Dr. Mahaman Bashir Saleh. He should be coming in any moment. We thank the African Union for being here. The Deputy Director General for International Partnerships of the European Commission, His Excellency Dr. Leonard Mizi, who is online. We appreciate the patronage of the EU, all members of Diplomatic Corps. May I also say our host, the Vice Chancellor of Buan, Professor Msepele, my board chair, Professor Teresia Kua Kenji, all Ruforum board members, vice chancellors, members of the governance organs and management, as well as directors and senior staff in the MasterCard Foundation. We appreciate your presence here. The Director, Climate Change, Sustainable Productivity and Resilience at ADRA, Professor Tilahuna Mede, at the regional and executive directors, country representatives of international and sub-regional agriculture research agencies here present, the executive director for Forum for Research in Agriculture in Africa, represented by Professor Fatumbi, and the Forum for Agriculture Research and Extension Agents, the executive director Lilian Lihasi, presidents and executives of university associations, national and visiting international associations. You're welcome to Botswana. And all directors of international and national agricultural research agencies, both visiting and local, we appreciate your presence here. Secretaries of government and executives and directors of education regulatory agencies, thank you for giving us 1 week of your time before now. And importantly, I want to thank the members of the Fourth Estate, all senior leaders here in your different capacities, our students, private sector, and the people of this great continent, Africa. Good morning, Africa. I took this time, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a picture of who we are having running with us here in this meeting. Distinguished delegates in your different capacities, on behalf of Ruforum, I take this opportunity to thank the government and people of Botswana for accepting to host the Ruforum Annual General Meeting taking place here in Gaborone. I also thank the national hosts under the leadership of the Minister of Higher Education, who together with the Vice Chancellor of Buan and supported by Ruforum, member universities and Vice Chancellors such as WIST, as well as multi-partner and UB, as well as multi-partner local organizing committee that has been put together to make all of us be here. Congratulations to all of you and thank you. It is now my privilege and honor also to welcome you all, our leaders and partners, students and delegates, to this momentous occasion as we open the 21st Annual General Meeting. The theme of the conference is positioning Africa's universities and the higher education sector to effectively impact development processes on the continent. This theme aims to galvanize our efforts as the higher education sector, along with our partners, to respond to the clarion call for accelerating development of Africa through delivery of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. As the Africa higher agriculture education sector, it is our duty to ensure that the path to achievement of that collective vision of success as a continent materializes. You probably all know that this continent is home to the world's youngest population. It has 65% of the land remaining to increase arable culture. It is home to the functional lungs of the world. In fact, the only one showing that evidence in the Congo Basin and its forests. It has diversified agri-food systems that can secure prosperity. And yet, distinguished delegates, it remains plagued with slow progress, but carries the hope of a better day. It is therefore our duty to secure the present and future through our commitment to harnessing the best of science, education, innovation, through strategic partnerships to secure that shared progress and development. I want you to note, distinguished delegates, that for agriculture, the sector that is 60%, home to 60% of our population, it's more than urgent to make changes now, and the higher education and research sectors definitely have a role to play. We have been asked to do this by our leadership through the second 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063, which has got 7 major clusters of developments that must take place across the continent. They are called moonshots. Moonshot number 6 aims to produce an empowered and more productive citizenry. That is our cutout work. I want to also emphasize that Moonshot 6 targets for us to produce a 5-fold increase in Africa's contribution to science innovations. And it also aims to produce at least 100,000 scientists by the end of the decade. These targets require that we re-energize our work as scientists, educators, and development practitioners. But as the economists always say, resources are limited. That means we must refocus, we must prioritize. There must be strategic investments that are made and very deliberate efforts to leave no one behind. Distinguished delegates, as I wind up now, I'd like to thank you all for coming. But please remember that over the course of history, education has been the foundation for growth. The words of the ancient Roman philosopher regarding education are very relevant for today. Seneca said that education is an ornament in prosperity. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. Our role is clear. Africa needs you and me to underpin its development. We must create that ornament in prosperity and the refuge in adversity. We must stand that tide through inclusive actions. We must produce evidence to inform and support policy development. We must leverage partnerships because our African people say, if you want to go far, you must work together. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this conference provides you that opportunity to work together. I want to urge us all that as we sit here, there are 3 things that we must deliver: strategic partnerships and building bridges for the future. Science for development by generating contemporary and relevant solutions at scale, and capacity sharing to train for the next generation. We must live here as one complete body. May every bone of as the foundation of knowledge and every muscle of partnership and strength be the build up this body. May the skin and cloth of inclusion get everybody on board. And may we rise up as one organic power of higher education in Africa. God bless you all. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much. I think we now know what we are about. I think we now know what we are about. There was a remark by the Executive Secretary. Now, at this point in time, I invite the last remark, which is going to be followed by a poem. Professor Teresia Nkwu Akenji, the Ruforum Board Chair, and Vice Chancellor, University of Bamenda in Cameroon. Round of applause is in order.
And coming on the heels of our cherished executive secretary, I respect the extensive protocol already established. It is therefore a pleasure for me to welcome you all to the 21st Ruforum Annual General Meeting. On behalf of the Ruforum Board, I extend warm appreciation to all of you who have made time to contribute to this important platform. As we gather here today, we are reminded of the power of collaboration and collective action. This AGM unites a strong coalition of organizations dedicated to revolutionizing higher education and agriculture in Africa. With over 170 member universities across all 5 African Union geographical sub-regions, our network leverages collective knowledge, leadership, and local influence to drive impact. Our member universities are the backbone of our network, and their dedication to excellence and impact is what drives us forward. As board chair, I'm pleased with our progress towards Vision 2030. We've made significant strides in research excellence, community engagement, transformative learning, and evidence-based policy discussions. These achievements are a testament to our cooperation, shared goals, and member universities' dedication. We have strengthened our research capacity, fostered innovation, and are developing solutions that address Africa's pressing challenges. Our graduates are making a difference in their communities, and our research is informing policy and practice. However, we face pressing challenges that require our collective attention. Pressure on food systems, climate change, and youth unemployment are just a few of the issues that we must address. Yet, Africa also presents opportunities with talents, land, innovators, and collaborations that can create a prosperous and food-secure continent. We have the potential to harness the power of technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship to drive economic growth and development. Our task is to expand transformative models, scale what works, and position universities as development engines. This requires us to think differently, to innovate, and to collaborate more effectively. We must leverage our collective strengths, share our knowledge and expertise, and support one another in our efforts to drive impact. This AGM provides a valuable opportunity to reflect on our progress, to rethink our approaches, and to strengthen our collaboration. I'd like to thank the Botswana government and people for their hospitality and support in hosting this AGM. Your warm welcome is a testament to the country's commitment to regional cooperation and development. I would also like to express my gratitude to all our Ruforum partners for supporting African-led solutions and for their contributions to our work. Your partnership is critical to our success, and we look forward to continue to work together to drive impact. To our member universities, I thank you for your unwavering dedication to impact and excellence. Your commitment to transforming higher education and agriculture in Africa is what makes our network strong. I encourage you to continue pushing the boundaries of what is possible, to innovate and to collaborate with one another. I wish all of us fruitful discussions and a successful AGM. Let us use this opportunity to reflect on our progress, to share our experience, and to chart a course for the future. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of millions of people across Africa. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
The size of the fight in the talk. Not the size of the talk. Thank you very much once again, Prof. I think now we have got a complete picture, but it's just about to be fully completed after something would have happened. Now, at this point in time, we'd like to give you a short treat, entertainment by poetry, and I would like to invite Dr. Lami Pisetso to come and do the needful poetry. Poetry. In fact, you might have heard from the presentations that initially, when this forum started, basically was about capacity building in agriculture, but has since taken another dimension now. Talked about science, talk about technology, talk about the arts. So this is the tremendous growth that this forum is about. I would like to invite you. A round of applause is in order for her.
Tatana Mela the Polo Tatata. I'm a terrestrial poetic god on the swipes of Kalahari. And poetry pulls and prowl between memory under my poetics and my senses flow like the lions of the Chobe jungle to the sand of the Bang. Across streams and rivers from the whole heart, I paddle my Mukoro days and I struggle. I struggle. Sorry, I am. The brightest joy with the bright. Ancestors told the dreams of a shepherd are known to be succeeded enough, and the subject stone great time to find the life. That not that define Mother Nature's the navigator of its vehicle for the masses to reach this child. This is our tale of chance. Dreams are ready to the land. And this stand in this box with knowledge who voice and the continent dreams like little bit more. Maybe reminder of the past. Mention forward with all these pens and paints so the future. Adinala de Zaronata Dirkale Smaruko Dimu, the Rotuhete Pula. Lerona boys mang bomukotrana or sabacking bomutikwana or snamwab. Actually translated to when you put your head together, be reminded of the men and the women back in the villages because they are depending on Pulang Hodisini. Let's it rain. Pula ya tutong kono bete len na ke pheka tlhati lo let's it ga ke pele let's ya and let's See, this learning is carried on generations to come. So, yeah. What do you say?
A round of applause is in order once again. I said to you earlier on, I'll come at a tangent. Thank you very much. Thank the forum for the tremendous growth to even embrace all these other sectors beyond what originally was envisioned as its purpose. Now, that was a break between the conference welcome remarks. Now we are transitioning into the conference itself, and we transition in style as I invite to the podium here Professor Richard Tabulawa, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education. Round of applause is in order.
Director of Ceremonies. Please, Director, allow me in the interest of time to say protocol. Good morning and a very warm welcome to Botswana. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 21st Ruforum Annual General Meeting. I trust you are settling in here in Gaborone. To the Ruforum Board and Secretariat, thank you for choosing Botswana as the host of this important gathering. The timing of this AGM could not be more fitting. It aligns closely with our government's renewed mandate to place higher education, innovation, and technical capability at the center. Botswana's National Vision 2036 dictates that as Botswana, we must be intentional in defining and managing our path to prosperity for all, as well as adjust to rapidly changing local and global economy and social order. Pillar 1 of that vision postulates that by year 2036, Botswana will be a high-income country with an export-led economy underpinned by a diversified, exclusive, and sustainable growth driven by high levels of productivity. Knowledge-based economy, human capital, as well as ease of doing business, the national vision. Director of Ceremonies, the recently launched Botswana Transformation Economic program is a deliberate and intentional game plan that defines our true north. It also positions higher education in a trajectory that has a multiplier effect to position Botswana at a higher level of becoming a major economic player in the world today. BTEP operationalizes this bold national vision. Ruforum is equally advancing its Continental Vision 2030 strategy, which challenges universities to become more powerful drivers of science, technology, innovation, leadership, and economic development. In many ways, two strategic paths are now converging. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the main planning objectives that will direct our work in the upcoming years were recently outlined by the ministry I lead. These include expanding infrastructure development and maintenance, boosting partnerships with stakeholders, strengthening quality assurance systems, improving institutional capacity and governance, and generating graduates who are both employable and entrepreneurial. We are also expanding access to higher education, strengthening the legal and policy frameworks, accelerating digital transformation, diversifying funding streams, improving financial sustainability, uplifting employee morale, nurturing a high-performance culture, and reducing vacancy rates across the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, these national priorities reflect Ruforum's commitment to developing universities that are relevant, adaptable, and transformational. The Ruforum 2024-2030 operational plan calls on African universities to build human capital that can drive inclusive economic growth, fuel scientific and technological innovation, and enhance agricultural transformation. This aligns seamlessly with Botswana's new national direction. To highlight the importance of work, allow me to share a few statistics. Africa's growth tertiary enrollment rate is around 9% compared to the global average of about 38%. UNESCO research shows that adding just 1 year of tertiary education in sub-Saharan Africa can raise long-term GDP by up to 16%. Studies on technical and vocational education and training further show that TVET graduates typically have better employment prospects, higher earnings, and greater entrepreneurial activity. African research also highlights that strong TVET systems contribute to environmental sustainability, community resilience, and green innovation. Esteemed guests, these numbers are striking. They remind us that higher education and TVET are not merely pathways to certificates. They are foundations of economic transformation. This is why the government of Botswana continues to prioritize investment in higher education and skills training. As discussed at the TVET ITO or consultation held in July this year, our ministry is strengthening innovation, entrepreneurship, research capacity, and equitable access. Brigade student allowances have been increased from 300 kula to 1,900 kula, which is about $142 per month, effective August 2024, with disbursements having started in September 2025. This increase helps ensure greater financial equity between Brigade students and their counterparts in universities. Digital reforms are also yielding results. With the introduction of online systems, sponsorship processing times have been reduced from 4 months to 1 month. The proposed ministry budget under both recurrent and development funding is intended to maintain and revitalize facilities across learning institutions, creating environments conducive to teaching and learning. These investments reflect our commitment to delivering on the national priority. Director of Ceremonies, as I conclude, allow me to speak directly to our universities. The Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, BUAN, the University of Botswana, the Botswana International University of Science and Technology, UST, Botswana Open University, BOU, and the Botswana Accountancy College. The research, innovation, entrepreneurship, digital transformation, and knowledge creation, they have a critical responsibility to force multipliers. You hold the core mandate to developing Botswana's human capital. I urge you to deepen collaboration with the institutions present here today. Use the AGM, this AGM, to forge new partnerships, create joint research platforms, and develop innovations that respond to the priorities of both Botswana and the continent. This gathering presents a unique opportunity to shape the future of higher education at a moment when Ruforum's continental strategy is gaining momentum and our national direction is becoming clearer. To all Ruforum member institutions, governments, and development partners, we welcome your presence and contributions. We look forward to working with you, learning from you, and building impactful collaborations with you. I wish you productive discussions and a truly transformative annual general meeting. I thank you.
Secretary, Minister of Higher Education, a round of applause. Thank you so much, Piers, making those connections, interrelatedness of things. We're going to be treated to a short a documentary on Ruforum. And then at the end of that documentary, we will now be transitioning to the real official opening tab, and we'll be inviting after entertainment by Buang Choir, the Permanent Secretary, to introduce our very guest for that particular aspect. So short documentary, so that if one may still be unsure of what this forum is, that documentary will say it all. That's the conclusion of sharing knowledge on it, packaged specifically for all of us. The documentary, please. Thank you very much. I now believe we all have all the information, what the forum is about and what the intention is, and we see now the links amongst the remarks that were given, as well as what the PS did in terms of demonstrating alignment in all these strategies, so that we can deliver excellently for our different nations. Thank you so much for that documentary. Now we are going to now give you a treat, a live entertainment by Buang Choir, and then they'll be ushering you, my peers, to come and do the introduction of our guest speaker, as well as ushering our guest speaker at the end of the choir. Buang Choir, this is your time. Wena mutua wena, hewena 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 mutua wena, hewena. Go tla re ba ntsenye ke ba joine ko beseng segolobogolo ke ba okeletse o mo ke o makeo ke te ke ba okeletse le nna ko beseng ke utlwana le go opela lentswe la base thata ke le butwe ba ntse ba re nako nkemelete ke palame kemelete ke palame koloi nako the arts, it's without much ado, let me now call the Permanent Secretary, Prof. Tabulawa, to come and introduce our guest and even usher our guests to the program. Thank you, yes.
Very much, Director of Ceremony. This time around, I have a very simple, but nonetheless very important task, that of introducing our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education and Member of Parliament for Chopong North, Prince Maele. Honorable Prince Maele is the founding minister of the Ministry of Higher Education and a distinguished member of Parliament for Chopong North. A seasoned leader with a deep passion for human capital and skills development, he brings extensive experience from both the public and private sectors, having served as Minister of Lands and Housing, and later as Minister of Land Management, Water, and Sanitation Services. At the helm of the Ministry of Higher Education, Prince Maele provides strategic direction to position Botswana's education system as a driver of innovation, skills development, and economic transformation. He is particularly passionate about transforming technical and vocational education and training, TVET, to better equip young people for the world of work, and is a proponent of access, inclusive and transformative higher education. A graduate of the University of Botswana with a bachelor's degree in political science and public administration, Minister Maele has also excelled as a human resources practitioner. He played a key role in founding the Institute of Human Resource Management of Botswana and led a consultancy firm offering high-level human resource and organizational development solutions. He has extensive experience of work in the telecommunications, construction, training, and medical insurance sectors. In Parliament, Honorable Maele has served in several key committees, including Public Service Management as chairperson, the Public Accounts Committee, and the Interparliamentary Union. His contributions consistently emphasize education, agriculture, labor law, youth empowerment, job creation, rural development, and economic diversification. Driven by a belief that education is the cornerstone of national progress, Honorable Maele continues to champion policies that promote excellence, innovation, and opportunity across Botswana's higher education and training landscape. Yeah, well, most welcome, Minister.
Let me start off by riding on the protocol that has been established. But I think it's important for me to recognize the following who are here with us today. The Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation from Chad, Honorable Edremi, the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research in Dan, Professor Musa, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education Research from Benin, Professor Trosso, the Assistant Minister of Communications and Innovations, Botswana, Honorable Sean Taile is also here. The man who is always troubling me, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and Skills Development, Botswana, Honorable Hikwama, who is also here present. Honorable Furniture, Member of Parliament for 30 East, is also here. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Higher Education, and other permanent secretaries here present. One Chairperson, Mr. Neo Moroka, Ruforum Board Chairperson, and Vice Chancellor, University of Lemanda in Cameroon, Professor Akenji. The Commissioner of Higher Education in Uganda is also here. Ruforum Executive Secretary, Professor Okori, Vice Chancellor Buan, Remo Sepili, and other Vice Chancellors from the local universities, Vice Chancellors from Ruforum member universities, development partners, CEOs here present, invited guests, member of the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, ya dumedisa dumelang. Good morning. I had thought that a lot of you here, particularly international guests, understands at least Dumela. So that's why I was actually trying to challenge and see if they would be able to respond to my greetings. That said, it is indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to give a keynote address to this auspicious and important event, the 21st Ruforum AGM and conference here in Gaborone. Botswana is privileged to host this high-level event this year. I stand here as a proud Minister of Higher Education in Botswana, celebrating this milestone. We have been waiting with bated breath for this event to be hosted in Botswana. And here we are today. I'm saying this because an event of this magnitude requires a lot of commitment and dedication to ensure that everything runs smoothly. And as we begin this forum, it is my hope that we will identify areas of collaboration and partnerships in addition to establishing lasting relationships for mutual benefit of our countries. I'm told that about 40 countries here are represented. This is a big number, and I really appreciate that. For me, this forum represents more than just an event. It symbolizes the powerful collaboration between governments, universities, the private sector, industry leaders, development partners, each playing a pivotal role in the creation of an education and training ecosystem that will shape the future of our nation. I therefore salute each one of you for your unwavering dedication for this collective mission. And I call upon all of us to further deepen and expand these transformative partnerships. It is through this shared commitment that we will unlock the boundless potential of our people and empower them to build strong, resilient countries fueled by innovation. Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is faced with common problems from the south to the north, from the east to the west. And those problems are youth unemployment, climate change, food insecurity, low levels of value addition and resilience on export of raw materials, sluggish economy that further transits vicious problems, insecurity in many parts of the continent that is creating millions of refugees and displaced persons, diseases, including avoidable epidemics, energy crisis that is stifling the continent's industrialization agenda, and quality of life progressing among others. While these problems are not entirely new in the continent, the level of science output that addresses these challenges require a catalytic boost and rethinking of how science is being undertaken to address development priorities of the continent. There is significant shift in the global diplomacy arena with the rise of multilateralism, as well as several countries falling back to the national focus. But this does not mean that partnership within and across the continent, as well as globally, has diminished. It has not diminished. It basically means that the world is going through a reset, and we need to be alive to these qualities. I've just borrowed a quote from Nelson Mandela, which he addressed, which he actually made when he was addressing students at the University of South Africa some years back. And this is what he had to say. He said, destroying any nation does not require the use of atomic bombs or the use of long-range missiles. It only requires lowering the quality of education, unquote. And he said, he went further to say, if you lower the education in a particular country or in our continent, justice will be lost at the hands of the judges who would have received that lower education. Money will be lost at the hands of the poor economists and accountants who would have received that lower education. Students will fail. Patients will die at the hands of the doctors who would have received that lower education. Buildings will collapse at the hands of engineers who would have actually received that lower education. And therefore, I applaud Ruforum for the focus on key issues during this conference, particularly focus on policy action around the Africa-Asia high-level dialogue on higher agricultural education, science and technology. Africa-Europe, high-level dialogue on higher agricultural education, science and technology, strategic high-level policy meeting and addressing agenda, diversity and inclusion challenges, including the question of refugees and displaced persons and persons with disability, transformative education and ecosystem engagement for value creation, jobs and wealth in the economies of Africa, climate change, artificial intelligence and agri-food systems that interfaces, including innovations, training programs for responsive human capital in the continent. This year's annual general meeting and conference theme, positioning Africa's university and the higher education sector to effectively impact development process on the continent, is unique and demonstrates the urgent realization that universities should be more proactive than ever before. The theme clearly recognizes that it is through innovation that higher education can achieve the lofty goals of developing resilience in societies, leading to the attainment of economic development. The time when universities simply concentrated on teaching, research, and outreach has passed. In this regard, we look towards African universities to be mission-driven by advancing active contribution to the economy by generating science solutions, translating science into products and services responding to development priorities of countries and the region. And therefore, I call upon universities to come forward, rise to the occasion, and provide the necessary leadership that will support the growth agenda in various 54 African countries. You are the front runners and action leaders for most of the development priorities that we seek to achieve. I further call upon you to pay critical attention to green economy, energy, and just transition of green job smart for the continent. This is one area where our science, venture buildings and action remain extremely low to the extent that out of the global available finance in these areas, Africa receives only 3.6% of the global available funds from the climate finance flows. Therefore, universities and Africa's private sector should explore what it is that we are not doing enough and how we can increase our participation in this space to the benefit of our people. Modern economic growth, ladies and gentlemen, and development of nations have always depended on the vibrancy of its educational sector to supply the human capital, particularly science, technology, and innovation, to harness its natural and intellectual resources, as well as trade to unlock economic opportunity. The higher education sector, particularly universities, must be part of the discussions and engagement that will underpin economic transitions that will herald a new renaissance for Africa. All our universities, established with mandates speaking to different development needs, must generate the knowledge, products, and services needed to grow the economy. To this end, I urge all of you to put all our hands on the deck in co-creating new solutions that will provide the tools, methodologies, and investment needed for building work-ready human capital, innovations, evidence-based policies, and investment that we need to transform our economies and unlock opportunities for our countries. Investing in education, our teachers, our youth, and innovators will create the very engine that propels Africa's economic growth and prosperity. I want to recognize, gravitating towards the end, the enormous contributions of our partners in the struggle to deliver sustainable solutions to the continent and especially to the young people. Allow me to thank the MasterCard Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Carnegie Corporation of New York, African Development Bank, World Bank Group, Government of New Zealand, Business Botswana, and other partners, locally and regionally and international, that I may not have mentioned, but are present here today. Our sincere gratitude for your contributions and the dedication towards Africa we want. I appeal for your continued support to the higher education center in the continent. Let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by wishing all of you, particularly international guests, an enjoyable stay here in Botswana, and indeed constructive deliberations. Botswana is famous for its hospitality and warmth of her people, and I'm sure you'll experience it during the course of your stay here. So stay behind for a few days after the forum to sample and experience the mighty Okavango, the safari in Chobe, the sand dunes in Kalahari, the food, the culture, and many other beautiful sceneries. I tell you, you won't regret if you do that. And above all, Botswana is equally open to business. We look forward to welcoming you back to Botswana as investors to support us in growing the economy here and the rest of Africa. Let's connect, let's network, and create long-lasting partnerships for our beloved Africa in Africa. Thank you for your attention, and once again, welcome to the city of Gaborone. That said, I now declare the 21st Ruforum Annual General Meeting and Conference officially opened. Other Africa, Golden Botswana. Thank you so much for your attention.
Once again, Honorable Minister. I wouldn't want to comment at all. When an elderly person has spoken, I've got no reason to make any comment. Issues of co-creation, issues of synergies, issues of collaboration and partnerships. I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. So Ruforum, you have heard from the Honourable Minister. Thank you once again, Honourable Minister. I would like to now call to this podium for a vote of thanks. Buang Council Chairperson, Chairman Matsaidi Reno Moroka. A round of applause.
Prince Maele, Minister of Higher Education in Botswana, and all your counterparts here present from Botswana and from outside. Honorable members of Parliament here present, the chairperson of the forum and executive secretary, permanent secretaries, allow me to say all protocol observed. I would like us to give a round of applause to our speakers for the erudite and elegant manner with which each one of them spoke. Round of applause for our speakers. In this regard, let me start with the Honorable Minister, our own Minister of Higher Education, the Honorable Prince Maele. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for gracing this occasion with your presence and for the clarity and conviction in your opening address. Your words have set the tone for what promises to be a purposeful and forward-looking annual general meeting and conference. I should also personally express gratitude to you, Honorable Minister, for always showing commitment and being able and willing to participate in the activities of those state-owned enterprises that fall under your ministry. Thank you for that, Minister. To Prof. Richard Tabulawa, our gratitude to you, and we deeply appreciate your guidance in framing the vision of the Ministry of Higher Education in our country in the context of Vision 2036, which is our national vision, and for introducing so ably our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister. To the Ruforum leadership, including Professor Patrick Okore and Professor Teresia Mikua Akenji, thank you for the steady stewardship you continue to provide across the continent. Your remarks today reminded us that our work is part of something much bigger than a single institution, and that ours is a journey, a marathon and not a sprint, which requires us to pull together as we move forward. A heartfelt gratitude to our own Vice Chancellor, Professor Mosepeli, for grounding us with remarks that were not only thoughtful, but also genuinely encouraging. The Boteti women's story comes immediately to mind in this regard. To the performers, the University Choir, Botswana Police Band, and the traditional dancers, thank you for bringing color, culture, and energy into the ceremony. These moments added warmth to what would easily have been a very formal program. To our distinguished guests from across Africa, including honorable ministers, thank you for prioritizing this gathering despite your demanding schedules in your countries. Your presence here strengthens the fabric of the Ruforum community and is a clear demonstration of your commitment to the future of Ruforum in executing its mandates and goals. To the organizing team, the local organizing committee, the technical crew, the protocol officers, and our rapporteurs, we see the long hours behind the scenes. Thank you for the kind of work that often goes unnoticed, but without which nothing would run smoothly. As we transition into the rest of the day, including the exhibitions, the discussions, and all the learning that lies ahead throughout this week, I hope we carry with us the sense of purpose that opened this AGM. Needless to say, Director of Ceremony, allow me to state that of all continents, Africa is the most highly endowed with natural resources. These needs to be managed in a sustainable manner for posterity. Let me close and end my vote of thanks with the words of the famous ecologist Aldo Leopold. And I quote, "We did not inherit this land from our forefathers, but we hold it in trust for future generations." Thank you once again for your time, your engagement, and your commitment. We look forward to a successful and inspiring week. Thank you so much, Pula.
I'm starting to feel a little guilty. Remoraka said, I'm happy you not walk towards me. No. I was just, as I walked, I was just moved by the spirit as I walked earlier on. Just the things of the spirit. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to that point where I will humbly be requesting the indulgence of the Honorable Minister because we are going into a short official photograph with him. He's going to endure 6 photo brief sessions, and I'll keep on announcing. The first one will be the minister in the front row. I'll just simplify them. And then the second one with the minister in the second row. The third photograph with the minister and the Ruforum board. I'll announce them one after another. Then the fourth will be the minister and the funders. And then the fifth will be the minister and the vice chancellors. And then the sixth will be the minister and Duan. So in that order, I couldn't accommodate all of us. I'm sorry. So, Honourable Minister, Resiban Notaba Gaida. So it's the minister and the front row. Resiban Notaba Gaida, where actually. So the minister and the front row. Inse Halajalo, the minister and the front row. That is the first official photograph. Resibanda will take issues of arrangement and alignment and such kind. That is the first photograph. All right, the second row, please come join the minister, the second row. But I'm saying this in advance so that. Second photograph. Honourable Minister. The third minister and Ruforum board. Thank you once again, Honourable Minister, for your indulgence. Ruforum board. Ruforum board. Still coming? Yes. Honourable Minister and the funders, for instance, the MasterCard, among others, the funders, yes. Honourable Minister, we miss Honourable Minister and the funders, and then of course, after the funders, then we're going to have the Honourable Minister and the vice chancellors and all the vice chancellor of this forum. That will be your time now. The Honourable Minister and the funders. Now, the Honourable Minister and the vice chancellors, and this includes all the vice chancellors of forum. Thank you very much. Let's make it to the podium. All the vice. And after the vice chancellor, the last one, the Honourable Minister and one. Let's ready. You know, then when you are standing, the paparazzi will make adjustments, proper adjustments to cover everyone. Don't believe that. More are still coming. Here, let me give announcements as we get to the conclusion of this official part of the program. Let me give announcements. Thank you very much, photographers. Thank you very much, Buan, for the last, yes. From here, we are going to have a special treat by the Botswana Police Band. They will give us one item while we are still seated and remaining here. And then when they play the next piece, that is when now we are going to have the VIPs, VVIPs living through that very door, through the red carpet. And I also in my announcement cover the feeding arrangement for the VVIPs, Bayesian restaurant. I think the ushers know and they will lead accordingly. They are actually ready. And then the VIPs, the restaurant green, it is indicated green. And I think once again, the ushers know those colors. And then the delegates, the glass marquee, blue. And then I'm reading the announcement. And then the police band, the choir, the SRC, logistical staff, the white marquee. And then at the time when the police band will be playing the second song, that is when now that item of official viewing of posters and stalls will be happening as they will be exiting this place when the band plays the second song. That is when the delegation will be led out. The VVIP, Sarangwako and the team, they are ready, waiting to do just that. I think that is what I wanted to say. The next thing is that after lunch, in terms of the program, all delegates, you are also requested to take that opportunity to view the exhibitions, the posters, and then of course, remember after lunch, there will also be parallel sessions in terms of the programs that we all have. I think those are the announcements that I received. And I think all is in order, and I think I'm not forgetting anything. Lastly, I would like to thank our sign language interpreter. I think a round of applause is in order for her. She has been at it. Meg Gloria Bosetomba for the beautiful work. Thank you very much. I think I'm handing over now to the band to play one song while we are just seated, enjoy ourselves. And then when they play the second song, that is when the VVIPs and will be let out for the stall, for the exhibitions and so on as announced. I'll be here to signal. Yes, a round of applause, a small announcement before we take the last one that is going to be ushering us out. Those who have got headsets or these things for communication, just leave them where you are. They're going to be taken care of. And then as the second song plays, the VVIPs will be led. Let's allow them to live, and then we'll be going to our different feeding points, as we said. Wena sign language interpreter na lwena ra go bo v. I hand over to you now, the police band. Yes, I think we are free to exit the hall, ladies and gentlemen.